Thank you so much for coming. This is a bigger crowd than we expected because I think this is the last panel slot for anything. So thank you for being here. Thank you for staying. If you stayed even longer just to be here, we really, really appreciate it. Welcome to the Alveus panel. You guys probably know what Alveus is. Hooray. How's your TwitchCon been so far? I think it was a good year. Well, it was definitely a good year for us. I don't know if you guys saw that at the opening ceremony. Very, very cool. I'm going to run through. You guys probably kind of know who we are, but I'm going to run through anyway. Hello, I'm Maya. I'm the executive director and founder of Alveus Sanctuary.
I'm Connor. I'm the director of operations.
I'm Kayla. I'm the director of animal care.
I am Lindsay. I am an animal care specialist and trainer.
I'm Shruti, and same.
Nice.
Great. Oh, sorry. I meant to have that up for y'all.
You can go back.
There they are.
Okay.
That's us.
That's them. Great. Okay, so Alveus Sanctuary, again, if you already know this, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you again. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit animal sanctuary and conservation education center in Austin, Texas. We rescue animals from all over the place. We have some wildlife rehab cases. We have some confiscated pets. We have some surrendered pets. You guys know the drill. I'll walk through some of them in a second. And our mission is to teach as many people as possible about conservation, and we do that primarily on Twitch. So we're very excited to be at TwitchCon. It's been very, very cool. And then we also host content collaborations where creators can visit and participate in education programs. Have you guys seen any collabs? Yeah, do you have any favorites? Squeaks? Peach Stars? Julian? Yeah. Okay, well. So that's what Alveus is. I'm going to do a bit of a rewind to tell you guys about what we've done so far. Number one, this. Everybody's favorite, every single one of our ambassadors here. We got Toast, we got Stompy, we got Appa Momo. Look at all these. Do you guys have a favorite ambassador? You want to shout those out too?
Winnie.
Nice. Excellent.
Toast.
So these are all of the ambassadors that we've rescued since 2021, which we are all super proud of. They're the core of everything we do, obviously. We love our ambassadors. Our model, we have our 24/7 live cams. If you guys would like a QR code to find those, to know where to find those, there it is.
Alarm. You're fine. Keep going. You're fine.
Okay.
It's fine. You're fine. Security announcement to people that can't hear on stream.
Okay. So we have our 24/7 live cams, which have been incredible for Alveus because you guys get to keep up with the animals all the time. You guys get to watch their daily care, what they're eating, you know, what their personalities are like, and it's the best second monitor stream on the planet, in my personal opinion. Yep. We have daily staff streams now, which is incredible. We have our animal care chats from these guys, amazing. We have project streams with Nick and Connor where we're doing more infrastructure things at the sanctuary, and then I have my streams on there as well. We have our collabs, we have our special events. We got the Fall Carnival coming up, which is very exciting. That's a fundraiser that we do every year. And then we have collabs. All those little circles down there are collaborators that we've had at Alveus, which is crazy. That's on our website. Our community, the reason that we have Alveus, period, is because of you guys. So thank you so much. We have a chat screenshot, very cute. Alveus is made possible by our Twitch community. I have some numbers that I don't know if I've shared before, so this is kind of fun for you guys to see. From 2021 to 2024, minutes watched 902 million.
Jeez.
It's a lot of minutes watched. We do have 24/7 live cams, but that's a lot of minutes watched. We have 182 million people reached. We're reaching about 30 million people a year with Alveus now, which is huge for us and nothing like what I expected when I founded it. I did not think it would grow this fast or this big or be what it is today, so very proud of that. We have 264,000 followers, at least when I made this slide. Maybe it's a little more now, I don't know. 16,000 hours streamed, 50 collaborations, which is crazy to me because I don't think I could list off 10 right now. And 39 animals rescued, not including the bugs, obviously. Lots of bugs. Connor's going to take it away to talk about Alveus' future a little bit.
All right, so you guys know I love my projects. I love digging holes at Alveus because the soil is so easy to dig in. There's no rock at all. So, well, now that we got the donation from Twitch, thank you very much, Twitch, for that. That means we get to go to work. I don't have it on the slide here, and I'm not going to tell you the exact ambassadors, but that money is going to go towards new ambassador enclosures, and we're going to start that ASAP. So stay tuned for when we launch or tell you guys what we're doing for that. So big shout out to Twitch. But one of the biggest things that we've been building towards is the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuary Standards. All of our enclosures are to that standard. If we always try to do like 10 to 25% above that standard, it's actually better than AZA from an enclosure standpoint. People ask us, well, could you get AZA standard? We're working on it. We're not a big enough facility yet. We're not well established enough. You have to make $1 million a year minimum for some of the AZA stuff, so we're just not there yet. One day we could easily do AZA stuff. So this is the next best accreditation that we can go for, and it's probably going to take us a little while to get there, but we're pretty close to getting that done. So now the other big thing is Texas power grid sucks. Not great, and if you guys have seen the reptile enclosures, we are replicating the sun inside of their enclosure, both sunlight or sunrise, sunset, and it takes up a lot of power, and going green is very important to all of us at Alveus. So we're going to be going hardcore into solar infrastructure. We're not going to do any solar batteries because they're just not quite where we need them at yet, but we're really excited about going at least all of our energy emissions going green, if not overproducing, to help be a carbon sink, because that's so important for wildlife, for our planet, and that's something that we want. That's the next journey we want to take people on to show them that how decently easy it can be, depending on your circumstance. But you can watch me, I guess, maybe fall off a roof or something, non-TOS. So it'll be a good time. Lastly, one of the coolest things that I think everybody's so excited about is getting everybody else involved with research, and you guys actually helping us gather the information that we need for pollinator. We've talked about the pollinator stuff. Okay, so it's not really cool. We're doing the pollinator garden, and we're partnering with some amazing nonprofits, and we're going to be having a really nice camera up there, and you guys are going to help us track the insects that come to certain plants, and we're going to see do those plants actually bring in the insects that are supposed to, or the pollinators. And that's just one part of what we want to do, and I'm hoping we can take it into AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning. You guys can help us build those models just by taking screenshots and IDing those beautiful monarch butterflies that come in or something like that. But doing more chat interactive things that contribute to conservation science, and I suspect really all the chat's going to love doing that. So
I just want to touch on that really quick. So citizen science is going to be huge for Alveus. If you've heard me say this like on a vlog or on stream, I'm going to say it again. So I went to an invertebrate conference in August, and they were talking about collecting all this data for bugs. And Xerces, which is a huge invertebrate conservation organization, did this nationwide study, and they got 400 observations, which was a lot of data for them. And I was like, that's a lot of data? Like, we have a lot of people at Alveus that can help us with data points. We're on our way to being like a conservation powerhouse, and taking on those science projects are something that we're all really excited about.
And we have the infrastructure. We have, I guess, the workers, the chat on there. So it's like it's all
Free
there.
labor. Thank you.
It's, yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, that's like a day for us.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 days. And people get to learn too. And like, I didn't like bugs when I worked at Alveus or started
Everybody
working.
in this room loves bugs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She took me over to the weird side.
All right, I feel really weird up here sitting on a couch like all by myself in the middle, and I also thought there would be a table, so I brought notes, and now you can all see them, and it's just going to be what it's going to be. Oh, where did
The button.
Where did Toast go?
There you go.
Okay, there he is. Shout out to Toast. So I'm up here to talk about a couple of the things that we get asked very often on chat. Hi.
Don't worry about me.
Okay. Don't worry about Connor. I always worry about Connor. That's part of my job, I feel. Anyway, here to talk about some of the biggest questions that we get, I think the most frequently, and I think even Maya and Hassan got a little bit of this yesterday. How can I do what you do is a big question that we get asked in animal care chats, and how can I help? And I know yesterday also we talked about how sometimes just the problems in the world at large make us feel very insignificant, and like the contributions that we might make might not be enough. So here to talk about some of those things. So the first thing, avenues to animal care, animal career paths. If you're thinking that you want to help animals, I think the first thing that you need to do is a little bit of research. I think people don't realize the number of careers that are necessary to help animals. So think about, do your research. Do you want to work with companion animals? Do you want to work hands-on with animals? Do you want to be a zookeeper? Wildlife rehabilitation? Do you want to work in a veterinary setting? That's what I wanted to do growing up. I'm sure a lot of people did want to do that growing up, and then I realized that veterinarians have to be the bad guy, and then I said, no, thank you. But beyond working hands-on with animals, there's also so much behind-the-scenes work that is necessary to make things like this just function. So you guys get to see it all behind the scenes. You get to see Connor and Nick doing projects. We need those people. We need maintenance people. We need fundraising people. We need marketing people. We need people who are good at communication. I think we've all mentioned before, too, that sometimes people who are very scientifically minded aren't necessarily the best people to educate. So we need educators. So there are so many different ways that you can contribute to helping animals. And so really think about that. If that's something that you want to do your research. Look at those careers and see what really interests you. And after you do that, think about your own resources. We talk all the time about not saying no to any opportunities that come your way, but you might not be in a position where you could go to school, and that's fine. There are a lot of these careers that don't demand that don't require it. So look at those careers. Do you need to go to school? Do you need a certification? Do you need a license? What do your own resources allow you to do? Is it worth it to travel for a job? I know a lot of people like to work like they think they want to work with a specific animal. But I never thought I'd love vultures. But I said yes to an opportunity working with them, and now they are my favorite thing to talk about. So don't ever say no to working with an animal, because you never know. You never know what you're going to fall in love with. That being said, I still wouldn't say no to working with any animal that came our way, which I think has happened at Alveus. I think prior to coming to Alveus, if somebody had said, will you ever work with monkeys? I would have said, no, I don't think so. And now I go in and see Appa and Momo, and I'm super excited about it every day. Appa's doing amazing things. Tune in for the fall carnival. Anyway, that being said, take advantage of your volunteer and internship opportunities. They're a foot in the door. They're references. And if you can prove to somebody that you're willing to clean up a lot of poop and wash a lot of dishes, you'd be amazed at what they're willing to teach you. So don't forget to take advantage of those as well. So many people in this field, if you go up and ask them how they got into it, are going to tell you they volunteered at an organization and years later they found themselves working there. I think that's mostly what I hear. So keep that in mind. That's actually how I met Connor. I volunteered at the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, and I fell in love with the red fox, and the rest is history. How to help animals, just kind of in general. I'm going to keep it pretty brief. I don't want to talk for a really long time, but I think the biggest thing you can do is get involved in your local organizations. So look at and not just zoos, not just animal sanctuaries, but we're talking wildlife refuges and nature preserves, things like that. Look at what they're doing to keep things in their area working. Look at your endangered species in your local area. Look at your protected areas. What's being done to protect those areas? I know recently Maya got involved in everything that has been going on in Florida, and we were able to mobilize a lot of people. So just spreading the word about those things is we can make a difference doing those things. Sorry, I'm going to get distracted by that.
We're good.
Yeah. Learning about native plants in your area, encouraging your local pollinators, that's a big one. Putting stickers on your windows so that birds don't collide with them. Knowing where your local wildlife rehabilitators are or how you can reach them so that if you find wildlife in need, you can call somebody who knows about that wildlife before you intervene. That's a really big thing. A lot of people get involved with wildlife that they think is injured out of very, very good intentions, but not always is intervention the necessary step. So having those access points is really important. I think we have one on our website as well, right? Yeah, so you can use the
Found
Alveus
an
website
animal.
as well. Huh?
Found an animal feature.
Yeah,
on our
found an
website.
animal. For domestic animals, this is another big one. Don't forget our domestic animals. Volunteer at a pet rescue or a local shelter. And if you're looking to adopt a pet, rescue a cat or a dog. I know we say that all the time. People ask us about exotic pets, and our advice is always going to be to adopt a cat or a dog. Unfortunately, just because of humans. Cats and dogs are really overpopulated in shelters, and hundreds of thousands of them are euthanized every year because they don't have homes. So consider fostering a cat or a dog as well. Give them an opportunity to live their lives. Oh my gosh, there's so much. I'm so sorry. The next one's a pretty good one for us. Follow creators that you trust and that you love listening to, and just learn. And then talk about it with your family, your friends. That's a big thing. And it feels really insignificant to talk about the things that you love, but it's huge. And if you get more people talking about it, more people caring about it, we have the ability to make a really big difference. So following people, creators, looking at the causes that they support, and looking into what those projects do is a really big thing. And then Maya always talks about this, familiarize yourself with food labels, animal welfare labels, if that's what your biggest concern is. Be a conscious consumer. It's amazing what we can all do if we decide that we want to protect animals that way. Conscious consumerism is a big one, and this is my last one, is donate whenever, wherever you can, and if you can't donate, volunteer, and if you don't want to volunteer, vote. Vote. Don't forget to vote. It's so important, especially this year. Look at your ballots up and down, look at what they support, look at what they're looking to protect, and vote. That is your voice, so make sure you use it. Oh. I've got one more thing. It's our favorite thing to say at Alveus. It seems like a lot, but our favorite thing to say at Alveus is it's not about a few of us doing this perfectly. It's about a lot of us doing it imperfectly. So, together.
We just have a fun little slide of some of the career paths that Kayla was talking about. We got Kayla training. That's my dog. Me doing wildlife rehab. There's wolf dogs. I don't know if you guys have seen that, maybe in an Alveus vlog. Wolf dog vet stuff, and then Tico. Cute. This is where to find us. All of our socials. It's really easy. They're all the exact same. So it's Alveus Sanctuary. Pretty nice. So the rest of this session is going to be questions from y'all. So if you have any questions, there are 2 mics in here. I guess we can just swap in between them. If you guys want to start lining up, that would be great.
We love questions.
We'll go back and forth. And then we'll all chime in here with however we see fit. Yes. Yes. I already know your question.
So I warned you. I have a joke first.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that. Okay.
Is there any plan in Alveus' future to pick up an Arakan sandworm? No? Okay. Joke missed on Dune cosplay.
Yeah, Dune.
Okay,
Dune.
Dune cosplay.
Dune.
Great. Yeah.
Dune.
All right.
Nice.
So the question I had mentioned to you before, I've heard a lot of different answers, and all of them feel wrong.
Okay.
For creators or rabid community members who want their streamer or their premiere themselves.
Does he need to talk into the mic, or is it fine?
More
Okay.
into it? Okay.
Yeah,
I can do
like get in there.
that. I won't up and down it.
You just
Anyways,
lean down.
So, if I'm a creator and I think it would be cool to go to Alveus, or like I think my community would really like it, or something like that, what is the correct procedure for that? I don't know if you guys have ever actually explicitly said that. I've heard a lot of weird things, or like oddly specific things, like Maya has to run into at a party or DM you on Instagram or something like that, and that doesn't feel right. So, what's the official answer to that question?
Sure. So I've never curated an official answer. Right now, our collabs are. I would love to do a collab once a week, but that's really, really hard to do. So our collabs are pretty few and far between right now. I would love to get to a point where we can scale up and have like a form, where we can put it out and creators can submit, and then we can have them come out and I don't even know them. Right now, it's all been word of mouth, really. And people that I've networked with at parties, and people that I've met at TwitchCon, and I guess that's where that rumor came from. People that I've met at TwitchCon, and people that I've met at events, and people that have vouchers from other people, and this person's like, you should meet this person. So right now, they're really scarce. But I would love to get to a point where it's much bigger and we can put out something that's public. So,
Cool.
Stand by is my answer.
I stream another sanctuary on Twitch, Furball Farm. I was just wondering, there was a panel earlier, they talked about extensions and how you guys had a custom API. I'd like to know more about your extension, like how you did it and how someone else can possibly do something like that extension.
Okay, so we do have our tech guy here. Claps in chat and in the theater for Space Voyage. He is amazing. Alveus would not be where it is without Space, so thank you so much, Space. So Space has done a lot with the extensions. Twitch is really open with APIs. I know there's a lot of forums on how to do that, and I think there's a Twitch Discord, right, that you can kind of get some help from the Twitch API staff to do that. But I would just say find a tech person to do that, reach out, and then they can go through the API. I'm not that huge tech like Space is on the coding end, but I hear it's pretty great. Twitch is really, really easy to work with.
Okay.
I would try to, yeah, I think trying to join a Discord and asking the question and see if anybody in there knows what's going on. I don't know much about that myself. I'm sorry. I wish I could say more.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah.
Also, thank you for your work, and I love your shirt.
Hello.
Hello. I just have a question. What's the next collab? Who's coming? Who's partying at Alveus?
That is a great question. Do I have anyone scheduled right now? I've had, well, doesn't matter. I'm leaking. It's fine, I think. You guys won't tell. We're not live right now on so it's fine. We are live. I think Fillian's going to come back. She was awesome, and we have a lot of really, really big ideas to make her collab very different. So Fillian's one. I've had a lot of conversations this weekend about people coming out. I talked to Doug this weekend about him coming out, which is awesome because his community also obviously is amazing for animals and cares about them a ton. So I'm really excited about that. I talked to Skara this weekend about coming out. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one of them.
Maybe Jinxie or something.
Maybe Jinxie. He loves us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any specific resources where people can go to see if, like, can I put a purple martin house up at my house? Like, will they actually visit it? Or, like, what kind of bat house do I need for my specific, like, region? Or, like, what kind of flowers are best for my local pollinators? Like, is there a resource that's a little more fulfilling for that kind of purpose?
So if you guys have ideas on this, let me know. My first thought is National Wildlife Federation. They have a lot of resources about you can like certify a habitat as a pollinator habitat through National Wildlife Federation. Xerces has a lot of pollinator resources, and they're region specific too. So I'm pretty sure you can go into Xerces and say where you are, and they'll tell you what to plant. And then the specific ones, like purple martins and stuff, it would be Purple Martin Conservation Association and the species-specific organizations. But I would check out National Wildlife Federation first.
As we build out our website as well, we're constantly adding more what can you do, and I think that's something that might be on the future roadmap, which is the more specific things, and then linking those organizations that have already done all the legwork for that, so we don't have to replicate it. Yeah, good question.
Beauregard.
Hello.
Hello. Congrats on the 100K.
Thank you.
So, crap. Oh yeah. So there's been with show and tell. That's been really awesome for me to go do stuff and show people. But is there any plans? You know how we had the World Wildlife Fund? Are we doing that again?
I don't know if that's a recurring campaign. If they bring it back next year, yes, we will be involved in it again. Our current plan is just to keep tracking our show and tell is where you guys can submit things that you're doing related to nature, whether it's a nature walk or wildlife or a trash cleanup, wildlife photography, stuff like that. And then I review them weekly on the Alveus channel, and we log hours. So we have, does anybody know what it is now? 8,000 community hours, something like that, just an absurd amount of hours. So our plan is just to keep logging it as long as we can. But we'll bring it back if World Wildlife Fund does.
Cool, thanks.
It's a really good measurable because we're able to see what our community and how it's impacting. And I think we can take that to other organizations and be like, hey, yes, we're young. We're coming up on 4 years old. And yes, we're almost exclusively on Twitch and YouTube, and it's a very weird platform, but we can come to traditional nonprofits and be like, here are some metrics. Here is what our community impact is doing. And they see that like, oh, you guys are serious. You're not just a bunch of content creators out there with the sanctuary. So I think that's huge. And I think, was it the start of kind of the citizen science thought process to bring that in to make it more official?
Yeah, I think it was the first real like data set that we started collecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a conservation biologist as well. I was wondering, I only just found out just moments ago that you guys are in Texas, right? So I'm wondering if there are any like rare species, plants, animals that you're either working on your permits towards being able to work with or are currently working with.
Can we start a wolf breeding program or a California condor breeding program?
Yeah, we're just gonna buy another 2,000 acres, and then we'll do wolf breeding.
Okay, let's do it. So I think we have talked about monarch breeding, and we Dr.
Snail breeding also.
Dr. Allison is an entomologist, and we're actually starting to bring her out to Austin and have her help us do this properly. Texas is a way station or a corridor, that's the word, corridor for monarch butterflies, and they need a lot of help as well. And apparently her words are kind of dumb, so we have to give them a lot of help and get that figured out. But once we get that going, we could do a lot to breed and release monarchs. But there's other species, I think, really... Alveus is really unique because Maya had a 5-year plan that she got done in 6 months, something like that.
It was a 3-year plan that got done in 3 months.
Oh, okay. Crazy. Thank you guys so much for the support. So we spent a lot of time figuring out what is the future of Alveus. What can we do? We don't have... most organizations are well established. They have 20 years of financial records to be able to predict what they can do for the future. It's hard for us to plan like that and make major commitments. Wolf Dogs was the first time we were like, oh, wow, we can raise a lot and get this done fast. And we have the ability to do so much more than we were thinking. So now we're kind of, in a way, restructuring for the better to do more, hopefully more breeding programs, more research, stuff like that. And we're almost finished establishing a really solid bedrock of process, procedures, staff, and stuff like that, to where I think I'm hoping by the beginning of next year we can just really just springboard into the new projects. If I can have a bobcat, please.
We're working on the bobcat.
So, yeah, great question.
And I also want to add one more thing. As someone who used to live here in San Diego, if anyone else lives here in San Diego and wants to support anything, there is a wolf conservation center over by Julian, and there's also a local raptor conservation center here too. So please look into those.
That's awesome. Yes.
I think too, right now, I just wanted to tack onto this because I think the reason that we started talking about doing things with monarchs and other invertebrates is right now, I think if we were going to be limited by anything, it might be space. So taking on any larger species to do any programs with might be difficult, but definitely getting into the invertebrates just because their spatial demands are a little bit less, I think is a good jumping point for us to get into that. We're really excited about it.
Lindsay, Shruti, is there any breeding program or anything that you would want to do at Alveus?
I mean, wolves sound good to me. Let's go for it.
Nice. Sharks, Lindsay?
Obviously sharks.
Yeah.
But no, hopefully, can I talk about it?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about it. Since we are getting our coral tank soon, hopefully, when they ever email me back, hopefully, the whole point of getting that is to segue into ocean conservation. So hopefully with that and with the coral tank, and hopefully a shark that goes in it, if I gotta look at it. But hopefully, the whole point of getting that is to talk about what goes on in our oceans, what goes on that we do that affect our oceans, like using specific water here in a land, like especially where in Texas, we're like 3 hours away. We're finally on the coast. But when the three of us were all in Tennessee, we were in a landlocked state, but we were still doing stuff that helped our oceans by picking up litter, doing all this other stuff. But hopefully with that, we can go into having coral conservation. And a lot of the corals, unfortunately, that you see in like home tanks, like private tanks, are plucked and fragmented from wild corals out in the wild and then shipped internationally. But hopefully, the plan is for ours. I already have a source, thankfully. All of our corals are going to be actually ethically sourced, and there will be at least 2 generations, like, fragmented from ones that are already sourced here, so they won't be brought from the wild. So maybe corals.
Underwater scuba stream.
Yes, please.
I
Sounds
did.
expensive.
I volunteer. I volunteer.
I also volunteer tribute.
Your turn.
Oh, my turn.
Yes.
My turn. Hello.
Hello.
I was going to say to the point about the coral. I'm from Kansas City, and our zoo, we just opened an aquarium last year, and they grew all of the coral locally in secret locations and then brought it in, and it was really cool to see that. And then shout out to Allison. I love her bug hunts. When I can stay up for them, I tend to pass out kind of early in the evenings. World's Wildest Podcast.
You gotta talk into the mic. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay.
It's so.
You might be able to like take it out.
I was like, you should be
I
able to
gotta
lift
stand like
it.
this.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Can
move
I-
it up.
Oh, there we go. There, that works. Okay. World's Wildest Podcast is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. You two do a great job. Are there any plans or ideas for other podcasts by other staff members or anything like that in the works?
We're rebuilding a studio at Alveus, so maybe there's something for like an Alveus something, but more like live streams, right?
We want to do a book club.
Yeah, we have our book club.
Live streams or podcast? Live stream.
We
Lead to
did. We
things.
did get asked yesterday if we were going to do just an Alveus podcast, and that's something that I don't know if that's something that people would find interesting, but I'm sure we can find things to talk about. So that may be a consideration,
Yeah.
but nothing specific.
We're trying to get
Are
more
people
of the
sick of us yet? I don't know.
we're encouraging staff to do more of their like passionate live streams. Like Lindsay could talk about the ocean for hours and hours and hours, and we've heard it a million times at Alveus, so we want her to do it on her live stream to talk about it there. So there's her outlet. Shruti with training, dog training. Also amazing reptile and amphibian and insect enclosures. And then Kayla with cats. So
I love
And
cats.
And books.
Maya, you should start another podcast too. You got the time.
3?
Yeah.
All right. Would you guys want an Alveus podcast?
Yes. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Amanda just texted us and said we're doing a great job. Hi, Amanda, by the way.
Shout out to
Hi,
Amanda.
We love you.
We're sad Amanda's not here. It's our other animal care staff. Is that your question?
That
You have
was-
another one?
I'm done.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank
Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
Hi. I was just wondering if y'all have anything that you can tell us about the Fall Festival, any activities that y'all have planned, anything like that?
Gals.
Leak it.
Oh gosh.
You can leak them.
Leak it.
I think I mean you guys might have, if you guys are watching, you might have seen Appa practicing pulling little bingo balls out of a bowl. He's gonna pull some bingo numbers for us this year, and whenever he gets tired of pulling bingo balls, we're gonna resort to Oliver because Oliver's old, he's trusted, he's got it down. So there's bingo.
Georgie's gonna ride a roller coaster, and I'm really excited about that.
Georgie is going to sit in front of a green screen. And there will be a roller coaster.
And we're really excited about it. Georgie has no idea.
he doesn't know yet. He's going to go
He
crazy.
has no idea. What are the other fall festival things? I know we've talked about it. What is it?
Roach race.
Oh, the roach race will be back because we love the roach race. Yeah.
I had a great time last year scaring Maya, so that's going to be my whole thing this next
I hate
fall
that.
carnival. And it's
don't like
before
that.
Halloween, so I can really go all out.
Oh yeah, it is Halloween.
It's October 29th.
It is around Halloween.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
We have more. We have discussions about how to include the chinchillas this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
that's
chinchilla is
different.
running a wheel, and we have considered a wheel of doom, like in their wheel. You know what I mean? So then they run and then they jump out of it and it lands on something and it's a consequence kind of thing.
Yeah.
For Connor.
No, not for me. No.
And then I think the other one that we wanted to include was Winnie, because people love Winnie. We got to figure it out. The donkeys are afraid to bob for apples and carrots. They're like, we don't trust that.
We
No.
can play
We're
hide
like,
and
okay.
seek with Winnie.
So
That's true.
Not gonna lie, we made up, what was it? Donk Donk Emu.
oh yeah, Donk Donk Emu. Yeah.
I'm not aware of this game.
What?
It was just
It's
one
fine.
that we made
Don't
up.
worry about it.
It's fine. We'll find out.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Stay tuned though.
This will be better planned.
Yeah, it'll be better planned by the time it rolls around.
Oh, they made it so tall. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no.
I got it. Crushed it.
I saw you were IRLing in San Diego Zoo. Okay. Did you get to see the giant pandas?
We did.
Oh.
It was asleep.
Yeah.
I think it was the male, and he was
Yeah.
snoozing.
He was
And then we
slumped
were
over a
told that they
log.
sleep for 12 to 16 hours a day and to come back around 4 or 5, and they would probably be more active. And then we did not do that. But we did get to see him snoozing, and it was very cute.
He was
How'd
very
you
cute.
like it?
I mean, I didn't know they were here. So I was really excited to see them. This is the first time I've seen the pandas.
Yeah, it's because they just brought them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really
It
excited
was very
about
exciting.
The zoo overall, though, we've now all been to the zoo twice in
Yep.
like 3 days.
Yeah.
What do you
It
guys
was
think
amazing.
of the zoo? How was today?
Yeah.
it. Loved it. I love the zoo. I love
There
the
are
San
so
Diego
many
Zoo.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's world famous. And they have a Twitch.
Yep. We've seen their Twitch. Yeah.
Live cams
But
on
Yep.
them.
anyway,
That's
they're not
Live cams.
back yet. I'll see what's up.
I think I could spend like an entire week going to the San
Oh my
Diego Zoo and
gosh.
Safari Park and
It's
just like
huge.
spending time in each area and just watching the animals. I think it's really cool. We've gotten a lot of, one of the reasons that we went especially was to kind of look around and see what kind of things we'd like to implement for our own ambassadors. And I think the one that we have acquired the most ideas for would probably be the marmosets. So there's a lot that we're really excited to do when we
No
get back.
waterfalls.
Excuse
No
me.
waterfalls.
Everybody
Georgie
deserves
needs
a
a
waterfall.
waterfall. No.
Waterfalls just like make you just like feel better around a waterfall, okay? And I
So
think
much
everyone
work.
deserves that.
It's the backside of water.
Yeah, it's just
It has
it's
been
just
scientifically
soothing. It's
proven
nice. Like
that
look at
you're
how
happier
everyone
with
responded
water.
to the little tiny wolf pond.
Do you remember
They're
the
like,
last time
sounds of the
I
water."
built a pond? Do you remember the last time I built a water feature and how it turned out?
That was your fault.
Are you talking about the wolf pond?
Yeah, the
The
phallic pond.
That wasn't your design.
It was my original design, but it just happened.
It was just very funny that it happened that way because of who you are.
Okay,
As a
well.
person. Sorry, guys. Oh no, but we love the zoo, and we love spending time there, and hopefully everybody that watched loved it as much as we did. I know I cried every time I saw a bird, so you know, chat's getting really used to seeing me cry. It's fine.
I love
Every-
birds.
I do too. They
I
are
really
my
hope
favorite.
you all were really excited about the platypus because I was very excited about the platypus at the
Yes,
safari
we're
park.
the only
I
one
know,
that
it's so
has
cool.
a platypus.
The
Only
only
one
one
with
outside of
platypus.
Australia, and
Yeah.
it's amazing, and I love it.
It's great. Yeah, San Diego Zoo. That's kind of the standard. We would in the Texas way. There's no way we could have as much foliage as they do because it's just the amount of water.
The
but
dream.
we want to build to that standard at Alveus, and I think give us a little bit of time, but we'll get there. So we just gotta figure out how to keep grass growing. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another question, sorry.
No.
My community is also watching on the Give Please Twitch stream, so they're excited
Oh,
to
wow.
also hear about you guys. A lot of them have been following. They're talking about Maya. Someone was wanting to know how you guys kind of started and got going, and how you got found and built a community.
Okay, so I grew up on a farm, and then when I went off to school, I interned at a couple zoos, volunteered first, and then interned at zoos. Was doing traditional conservation outreach education, so bringing animals places and teaching people about animals that way. And then I started streaming unrelated content. I started streaming in the music section, so totally unrelated. But I realized when I was streaming that I could do the programs that I was doing IRL online. And so that's kind of how it started. And then after a couple years of doing stuff like that on my own, I thought of Alveus, and here we all are. Down the line?
Well, I guess wasn't like Alveus focused or like more individuals how we got into this line.
Just how you built the community and how Alveus got started.
Alveus in the community,
founded.
I think one of the biggest things that, you know, Maya did her thing outside, well, this is just more than just animal stuff. She did a lot more of the entertainment stuff and then funneled it towards the conservation. And you've got to do that. When we were at the American Eagle Foundation, I grew their TikTok to almost 700,000 followers within like, I don't know, 13, 14 months. But I did half entertainment, half education. And if you weren't doing both of those, like it just wouldn't do as well. So you can't be full, you'd also probably kind of get bored just doing full education. So you've got to kind of have that balance to keep people listening and whatnot. So I think that's a good way to build a community. And then, you know, on Twitch, I think it's just like doing crazy fun things for the animals, for the education side of things and whatnot, to kind of help to build community. But Maya might have a better answer for that.
No, it was a great answer.
I think also just showcasing the ambassadors is big. I think highlighting their individual personalities and the fact that they are all very unique individuals, very capable of making their own decisions on a day-to-day basis, is a huge part of just getting people interested and seeing, like, people get to see these animals all the time. I think, did we mention this at the zoo yesterday? Is there are so many animals when you go to the zoo that are you don't see. And at Alveus, because you have access to them 24/7, you guys know that a lot of our animals spend the day asleep. So it makes perfect sense now when you go to a zoo and you don't see them. They're sleeping, they're resting. So I think Alveus has a huge ability to kind of give more context to even animals that you see outside and when you're visiting things. But I think having those ambassadors and letting people see their personalities makes people excited about saving those animals. So I think that's a big part of it too.
Tell a compelling story.
Yeah.
We also just love interacting with our community as well. Like, they have such interesting and awesome questions that we just love to interact with. Every time we do our animal care chats, it always goes at least like an hour, half hour longer than what it's supposed to. And then Kayla yells at us for not leaving on time because we're just constantly just interacting with our community, answering questions, talking to them, just having a good time with them. And then one of the animals does something cute, and then we all have to gawk and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. And we get to share that with them, and it's really cool.
We have a really great community.
We really do.
Thank you guys.
That was all great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, I can hear myself. That's awful.
Hey.
Probably a bad question. Sorry, off the top. I wanted to piggyback off of the conservationist from earlier because he was talking about specifically Texas animals and conservation in that way. I'm from Texas myself. San Marcos has a salamander that lives in the river, and I didn't know if there was a possibility for y'all, because the coral, right? But that's not freshwater. So this is why it's a bad question, is I started arguing with myself over like freshwater conservation is like a really big thing, and like it's very hard to do things like that, but I didn't know if you guys had thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You're doing great.
No, that is a good question. So the only freshwater conservation that I've really done is back in like the conservation cast days with freshwater fish biologists. I have talked to a couple of them about doing Conservation Uncharted with native freshwater fishes, and so I would love to do something like that. I have not done much work with salamanders, but I, of course, would love to. Maybe sometime in the future, that's a potential ambassador, because salamanders are super important. Right now, I think we have Georgie tell their story, but that could be really, really cool. We're always looking to get into new areas of conservation. Ocean conservation is our next big one because it's massive, but freshwater conservation is super important as well.
Thanks.
Also, your question is literally how every conversation out of Alveus starts. Just like, hey guys, I had this thought, and now I'm just gonna talk about it until I have nothing more to say, and hopefully somebody will just pick up where I like lost it, and hopefully we'll get somewhere. So, good question.
Yep.
Good thoughts.
Hey all. Thank you so much for coming to TwitchCon. It's just really cool to have you here. I know it's a big commitment with all the animals back in Austin. I know when you talk about Alveus, a lot of people ask how they can do what you do, and the big focus is the animal care staff and Maya is the CEO, and rightfully so. I was just wondering if you have any advice for someone who's taken a more like corporate career path, supporting things like finance or software development, looking to translate to like nonprofit. I think it's a bit intimidating just not knowing how those skills might translate or how they can help.
Those positions are needed in nonprofit organizations. As a nonprofit, obviously everybody needs money. So being able to have those finances in check and you being able to like know how to math well, what is very important and is really needed. And like we also need administration people. We also need HR because Connor.
Shots fired.
You needed it. I lost my train of thought because of that.
I think, first off, I would say if you're going to go the nonprofit route, be prepared to take less money. That's the part that does hurt. There are some good organizations that will try to keep something competitive, but it'll still be less than you get in private sector. I guess that's with everything, like with government and whatnot. So I think one of probably the most impactful thing that unless you want to make this like a full career path, one of the most impactful things like I do or I've seen other people do is help smaller nonprofits that you're very committed to, and you can just give a few hours a week to helping them on the finance or the corporate side, and even becoming a board member or just volunteering for that. Because just being able to hand off, for me, I don't do the finances, but I do help with that a lot. But we've started handing off a lot more of that. That has been a huge weight off me because I'm not a finance guy. And we've got some people to help us there. And it took my job from being, 10% bad to now 100% good. And I bet there's organizations out there that's like, they're trying to figure out finance and their lives are 90% bad. And if you just step in for a few hours, it's just going to make all the difference. And they can focus on more of their mission. So that was a little long-winded, but yeah, if you can do that. But if you want to go more corporate, just your qualifications from what it sounds like, probably just get a job, just make less money is all.
That's really helpful. Thank you so much.
I think too, I think you were kind of saying this, and I maybe you guys got it, but I was quite I don't know if this is exactly right. You mentioned volunteering, and I think very often if you volunteer somewhere and you just advertise that you have other skills and you're like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I could maybe help out. I think that's a way to get there.
100%.
Also, as somebody that's hired on a CFO and is hired on legal counsel and stuff like that for Alveus, I have looked for people that have done volunteering or have some sort of passion in animals as well. So a lot of people that I brought on are like, oh, I did this pro bono work for this animal sanctuary or this animal shelter. And then it's a really easy, please come help us because, we're already aligned in mission and passion, and that helps a lot too. So if you want to do your traditional route and your accounting degree and all that, and then go do volunteering on the side, that helps a ton because it shows that you're passionate about what they're passionate about, and that's what nonprofits are all about.
Hello. Circling back to the San Diego Zoo earlier, I'm an educator there, and I was just kind of curious.
Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Thank you. I was just kind of curious about your guys' individual backgrounds, all of you, and if you've gone to school for, in zoology or biology, or if you're like me and just ended up here, and yeah, if you've known you've wanted to do it your whole life, or just kind of got into it.
I love this question so much.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start. So I've always loved animals. I always knew I wanted to do something with animals. Going into college, I thought I wanted to do sustainability in agriculture. So my degree is in agricultural communications. And I got my animal experience working at zoos in college primarily. But that's my degree. And then I started streaming while I was still in college. So the rest of my experience has been internships at Parrot Sanctuary and wildlife rehab centers, and then it was Alveus. So not as much as I would like, honestly, outside of Alveus, but here I am.
I started out working, going to be a veterinarian, and then I realized how much debt it would be in school. But at the time I was working at the American Eagle Foundation, had already started to fall in love with wildlife, and I was already going that direction, so I stayed with it. and I just like to fill niches or niches. I always get that wrong. Niche, where there is help needed. So it was TikTok for a while, and then now at Alveus, it's a lot of construction projects and stuff like that. I don't have a background in construction, just lots of YouTube videos, and I have a lot of good friends that are really, really good at it, so they can keep me in line. But it's, I don't know, you just kind of find your way. I find places that, oh, the biology degree. Thank you. Yeah, biology degree. Yeah.
It's easy to forget that you suffered for 4 years. Yeah. I graduated with a biology degree, and I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was in college. I volunteered I've always loved animals. I had a mother who encouraged my curiosity at every chance she got. I grew up with cats and dogs, and always loved them. Thought I wanted to be a veterinarian. Did not want to be the bad guy, said no thanks. Thought maybe I would be a doctor. My younger brother ended up being a doctor, so that's great. So I graduated college, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I ended up working a year and a half at the post office, just working the night shift to save money because I really had no idea. And then I very spontaneously decided to move to Alaska and started volunteering at the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. And I fell in love there with educating about bears and foxes, specifically a red fox who is still there, named Jade. And decided maybe this was it. Maybe this is where I needed to be. And while I was there, I applied for a job in Nepal working with vultures, endangered vultures, and educating about vultures. And that's where I fell in love with birds. And that's where I was really like, this is it for me. I'm home. And those birds changed my life. And when I came back, I started at the American Eagle Foundation until I eventually ended up at Alveus with Maya. But yeah, so I say it found me. I don't say that I intended to do any of it. I say it happened to me. Birds happened to me.
Same. No, I did my bachelor's degree in aquatic biology, so freshwater biology. And I always, because I grew up stomping around in the creeks, going creeking with my father, to where we would like catch minnows and take them home and put them in a tank. And we had like 3 tanks at one point. That was fun. And then then we started going to the beach all the time with family vacations, and obviously one thing led to another, and sharks. And then as soon as I got out of my bachelor's, I did the first internship that I could get, which was at a raptor rehab facility. And then that's kind of how birds fell into my lap. And then I fell in love with a red tail named Dirk. She's a great girl. She's very sassy. And then I eventually got my master's degree in shark biology, so conservation of marine predators. And then but I also took a year off from animal care and was working at REI, just doing their online orders, just hanging out in the back, kind of like what Kayla was doing at the post office, just to save money while I was going to grad school. And then Alveus happenstanced as well, because I have best friends that was working there.
I told her Winnie needed her.
I love Winnie so much. But yeah, here you go.
Thanks. I started off by volunteering at my local zoo when I was in high school, and again, I didn't really anticipate like falling in love with it so much, and I did. So I eventually went to school for wildlife sciences with a focus on animal behavior. Just kept going with that, did a lot of field work, a lot of field research, kept just going on that behavior train, got my master's in a similar field as well. Did a lot of captive animal care, a lot of animal rescue. I found these guys on the internet, and I got lucky.
We got lucky.
But I don't know. It's really important for me to say, I did go through a bunch of school, but some of the smartest people I've ever met do not have degrees. Don't get me wrong. A degree is helpful. It takes you far when you're applying for jobs, trying to, get yourself further in the field. But it's not a mark of how competent of a person you are, how much knowledge you have. Again, some of the smartest people I know do not have degrees. But it helps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you for all of your questions. Thank you again for coming. I really am assuming that some of you stayed longer just to come to this panel. Thank you so much. It is so nice. We are so happy to see all of you here. I hope we got to meet all of you at some point this weekend. And I think that's all we have for you. Yes? Anything else?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.